Quick Sunday update from Tower Genius. So there's been a lot going on this week in the wireless industry, and probably the biggest disruptor of the decade has to be Elon Musk. So this is an important update if you are a Dish cell site landlord, and also just there's been a lot going on this week. So I'm gonna give credit to Monica ALLEVEN, who's a writer for Fierce Network, Fierce Wireless. I'm going to link to 3 of the articles she's put out in the past week or so in the description of the video, and I'm probably going to link back to blog page post on Tower Genius. But 2 big things happened this week in wireless. Okay, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile have announced a joint venture to team up with AST. Oh, I can't talk. AST Space Mobile. All right, so that's the competitor of Starlink, and it's basically in response to what Elon Musk is doing with the low orbit satellite network through SpaceX with Starlink. Okay, yeah, it is disruptive technology, folks, and it's exciting because the good thing is now there's going to be some competition in the industry, and that leads to the next point, which is the fact that we talk about, we get a lot of calls from Dish Network landlords with Dish cell sites, especially on those sites where Dish signed a rooftop lease directly with the landlord, or where Dish did not have enough ground space to get on a tower like the one behind me, and they signed a separate ground lease with the property owner for additional space, or where Crown Castle, American Tower, or SBA Communications have a lease where Dish is a subtenant, and the landlord was getting some co-location subleasing revenue share, and all that rent, all that money went away in December when I don't want to say people were smoking anything in Colorado, where actually EchoStar and Dish happened to be located just maybe 4 minutes and 20 seconds away from each other. But I'm not saying anything about that. But basically, these force majeure letters went out. They're not termination letters. They're just notices why, hey, we can't pay the rent anymore because of this unforeseen circumstance, et cetera, et cetera. And landlords have been left holding the bag. Well, the good news is that they announced, the FCC announced, and again, in Monica's articles will be linked here. Basically, what was announced was that if EchoStar wants to do this $40 billion spectrum transfer to AT&T and to Elon Musk, Starlink, then they have to establish a $2.4 million escrow account, which is going to help to pay for the contractors that got screwed and the landlords that got screwed. So yes, I believe that there's some light at the end of the tunnel for Dish cell site landlords. Now, this is going to take a while, like with any consolidation. Now, the thing is, with AT&T getting that spectrum, Dish sites were basically, it's an overlay, right? So it's a 5G network, and wherever Dish is, pretty sure that AT&T is right there on the same site or very close nearby. So a lot of these sites, most of them are going to get, they're going to be slated for decommission. Now, the nice folks at Dish, or their minions, are going to come groveling back to you, requesting a rent reduction or an abatement or whatever. And here's what you just got to tell them: just say no. You know what? You owe us back rent, okay, and we're not giving you a reduction. Pay what you owe us, okay? And you should be firm on that. Now, the caveat is, if you didn't do a good job with the lease negotiation, your lease says that if you have a direct lease with Dish on your roof or on a ground lease, and the lease agreement says that they may remove the premises, they may decommission it, restore. The word may may screw you, okay, if you're a landlord. So the lease really should say they must or shall. Now, the thing is, your local wireless ordinance, whatever, it might require abandoned sites to be decommissioned or whatever, but don't give them a rent reduction if you can avoid doing so. And you need to get that back rent collected. Now, we've gotten a lot of, again, I'm going to link to Monica's articles here and credit her for, she's put some good pieces out and been following this lately. But you need to hold your ground there. Just like I tell people with, Array Digital Infrastructure and US Cellular, no rent abatement. Pay us pay us our rent or get your junk, get your scrap metal off our property. That's kind of needs to be the stance that you take. And I'll link a satirical YouTube video that Tower Genius put out about 3 years ago on how to handle these lease optimizing, rent reducing, I should call them leeches, but you know what I'm talking about, these annoying companies that call you for rent reduction. Just say no, like Nancy Reagan. But anyhow, if you have, we get a lot of questions. Hey, Steve, you know, what's a class action lawsuit that we can join? I'm not an attorney. I can't give legal advice, and I don't, right? So I can make telecommunication recommendations. If you go to, you know, I'll link back, you know, to the blog page where I put this thing, and just fill out the form and just say I'm a Dish landlord looking for you know, where to go for the class action. I'm going to try to point you in the right direction. Again, I can't promise anything, but I'm wink wink sending people somewhere. So anyway, if you have any questions, Tower Genius 888-313-9750. Just say no to taking a rent abatement, rent reduction from Dish. And you know, the good news is it looks like, oh yeah, the big winner here, Elon Musk, disruptor of the millennium here for wireless. And the wireless industry really needs to be shaken up. They need competition. And we've said all along, the worst thing to come of this Sprint, well, let me just rephrase. We were always opposed to T-Mobile buying out Sprint. The byproduct of that merger was that Dish had to become a wireless carrier, 5G network for the other genius, John Legere, aka Slow Cooker Sunday, Mr. Legere. If you watch this video, you are pretty sharp, because he was ahead of the curve when it came to all this, because I guess he must have seen what's coming, and you know, got out, and I think he packaged out the day after the Sprint T-Mobile merger was approved, and the feds required that Dish become a carrier, and this has been a train wreck for Dish ever since. So and we're kind of hoping that maybe, you know, a company like Starlink would benefit from the Sprint network. So anyway, it does look like thank you, FedEx. It does look like that at the end of the day, Elon Musk and Starlink are going to benefit from the Sprint T-Mobile merger, after all, as this stuff, as they're acquiring spectrum for satellites. Again, this stuff, they don't need this stuff on your rooftop. They don't need looks like they don't need your ground space either. So anyway, that's a quick update here. Have a happy Sunday, and I'll try to get this thing posted as soon as I can.